harp. I know some of you just finished the harp training, so you can tell then that I have the basic moves down. I have not moved on to the advanced techniques yet, but I will. It's taken me a few years to get the level 1 techniques down. But still pretty easy, right? That was just me, that was my own move. Alright. Let's all take a nice deep breath in. Long exhale out. Another nice deep breath in through the nose. Long exhale out through the mouth. Oh, great spirit. Angels, archangels, beings of light, our beloved consciousness of the crystal bowls, the harps, and our instruments, and our beloved Mother Earth. We thank you for the blessings that we have received, and we welcome your presence here today as we tell the story of how each of us got here today. We acknowledge the divine intervention throughout all of our paths and journeys. And we hope that today inspires each one of you to follow that divine inspiration. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Welcome Sedona and Sanitas, the energies of the temples that are now set and established. So thank you and welcome. Hi everybody. Nice to see you all. My name's Amanda. For some of you who may have not met me or seen me or taken any of the classes yet. And I'm joined by my two business partners, Catrina and Ryan Stanley. And make sure you guys are highlighted in there so everybody can see you. If Catrina could do that for us, that would be great. There we go. And let's add Catrina, and let's add Ryan. Where's Ryan? There he is. Okay, here we are, the three of us. Woo! The dream team, the team that said yes. Right? This story is all about inspiration and taking inspired action on that divine inspiration. And that's how we're here today. My story with sound started about 11 years ago when I was down in Costa Rica after working as a registered nurse doing night shifts, like a ton of night shifts. And if any of you are nurses, you know that you become family when you're on night shift real quick. And I took a vacation, came back, and my first crystal bowl, which is right here, this one right here, called me in off the street, and I got a ping in my forehead before I really knew what chakras were. And I walked in, and this one was doing this cute little dance, winking at me. And I asked the lady what it was, and she said it was a crystal singing bowl attuned to your third eye chakra. So I bought it and my first crystal on that very first day, and I played it all the time, and I put my water in and I drank it. I was a nut, and I love it. And through playing it and listening, I would go into meditation after playing. I got inspirations like, why don't you go back down to that store? There's another crystal bowl for you. So I did. And what turned from one bowl turned into like 30 or 40 really quick. And when you have, you say yes to that kind of energy, you say yes to these types of bowls, things tend to move quickly. And my life shifted very quickly, and I just kept saying yes because it felt good to me on the inside. And that led me to be brave, because it takes a lot of chutzpah and to get out there and to present something that's not popular, that not too many people have heard before. And I think the Holy Ones knew that I don't have that kind of thought process, and I'll just get out there and do just about anything. And they gave it to me. I got it in a meditation. I went down to the yoga center that I could find at the bottom of the hill in the Mesa, which I think some of you actually met me from there. Good to see everybody from a gentle way. It's so great. And I started teaching the bowls there. I started playing for the yoga classes, and during my classes, people would have wonderful results. And mind you, back then I knew nothing about, harmony or sound. I just knew I had like 40 bowls, and they wanted me to play them for people, so I did. And that grew. People wanted to learn about sound healing, and I knew nothing about it. So I started doing my own research. And I met Jonathan Goldman. I like to call him the grand poobah of sound healing. I went to his 10-day sound healing intensive in Colorado, which was fantastic. We were toning for 11 hours out of the day, and everybody was having these wonderful awakenings and alignments, as did I. Not there, but after I did find out I was pregnant there, which was quite an awakening for me. But I practiced. I put all of what I learned, playing my bowls, toning, I put all of it into practice, and I did it every day. And then I started getting more and more inspirations of, hey, why don't you put together a training, or why don't you put together workshops? So I did, and I just started doing it. And then I found the Soul of Yoga, and that Flossie Park was playing the bowls up there. Actually, Trisha Kelly was playing first, and then her sister came in and started playing the bowls, and she's kind of like the grandmother of the crystal bowls in my world. I just love her, especially in Encinitas. She's like the godmother. So we got to know each other, and I had put together something called the School of Sound and Harmony, which was essentially a yoga training with sound healing, more of a sound healing training disguised as a yoga training. But I just couldn't get the marketing off. I wasn't really sure. I'm a nurse. I'm not into selling things. I never have been before. So Flossie said that she was thinking about putting something together and invited me up to the Soul of Yoga to meet the new owners, Ryan Stanley. Catrina I got to meet a little bit later. So I went up there, and we had our first meeting with Flossie. And Ryan said that he was interested in having a sound training, and I was like, well, I can probably write one for you. And so I went home and I meditated, and I wrote a 1,000-hour sound healing training program. And Ryan was like, whoa, that's too much. And he was probably right. And I could have listened to him. But through that beautiful transmission came a 100-hour foundation training that we did in person for 2018 and 2019. That translated into, because of COVID happened, we all went online, and I got to work with Wah and Christine Stevens and Sylvia Nakash and Shelley Reef, and we developed these, what we call now, frontline sound healer trainings, which prepares you to go out into your communities and empower other people through the fantastic gift that sound has. And I'm happy to say that we now have 2 temples, one in Encinitas, one in Sedona, and a wonderful sound healing training program that we're working on reaching now the schools with the drumming program. I'm taking on the school shootings straight on because I feel like nobody's doing anything, and I've had it. So we're going to start training people to take drumming into the schools and do, I'm hoping to do a year-long study on that. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please contact me. And it's been exciting ever since I said yes to this bowl right here. a lot of faith and a lot of pushing through, you know, when other people said you can't do that or who are you. Like my favorite is that the Shift Network, right? They just had their Sound Healing Summit and nobody asked me, but I called them and I was like, hey, you should have me on your summit. And they said, you know what, you're right, we should. And I was on it and I'm really proud of that. So sometimes you have to stand up for what's right and for yourself and put yourself out there in uncomfortable positions. But for me, the payoff has been just so amazing and I'm so thrilled. And I don't know if I'd be here if it wasn't for both Ryan and Catrina saying yes to some of the wild stories and offerings that I've come up with. And so I'd love to hear, I think it's going to be really fun. I'm usually the one that gets to tell the story about how it came through me, but we don't usually get to hear Ryan and Katrina's version. So I'd like to start with Catrina because, first I'd like to know, how did you first kind of be exposed to sound as a healing modality? And then how did you react when Ryan was like, I think we're going to do a sound healing program? And then Ryan came and said, I think we want to open up a temple. And then came back and said, I think we want to open up a bigger temple. Like, how did you deal with all that?
Thank you. I was first exposed to sound from Trisha Kelly, which you mentioned earlier, in her Saturday yoga class. And she would play the bowls at the end of class, and they were the big frosted ones, and they were loud, really loud. And I would just hear it throughout my body, and I was like, ugh, I don't know if I really like that. And I talked to people afterwards, and they said, well, you really need it. If it's shaking you up, you need more of that. And I kept trying to just listen and take the bulls in and let them do their work because everyone else was enjoying it. But I've also learned since then that they might have been a little too loud for me, but everyone else in the class seemed to like that. And then I remember Ryan being really excited after um, taking over the soul, meeting you, Amanda, and I really saw how excited he was about sound. And so it's been fun to watch the journey. The story with the bulls entering our life was interesting because that time I remember having a baby on my hip. And so I was in such a place where I was just trying to get through my days. And you guys came and said, no, we're going to get the bowls. And I was like, remembering not being able to process all of that information. And then, the bowls being delivered into the garage at 10 o'clock. So for me, it was just, you can tell, for me, it was an overwhelming, um, but divine inspiration. I felt it through you guys, and I thought, if you guys feel it, then let's do it. Um, so that's my story, and as you can see, I'm a behind the scenes girl. So I help support the soul of yoga and sacred sound of the soul from my office, supporting my family. And since Amanda opened Sedona, I've had more chance to work with people in the Encinitas temple, and that's just been so out of my box from what I'm used to doing, but I'm really enjoying it and the people that I'm meeting. And it's wonderful seeing a bowl go home with someone. I'm starting to know all the bowls in the temple and see a bowl go home with someone and then have them come back and share what they've done. That just keeps me going. That's just, whether it's just them sharing it in their own home with their family and that's as far as they're going, or I've have people that have just started and they're doing a sound healing, their first sound healing, they're filling up the whole space with people. And I'm like, wow, it just happens so quickly for some people, and it's just so encouraging to be supporting them in their journey. And we just kicked off sound healings in person again here in Sedona and Encinitas, and people are coming back. So I'm optimistic and having a good time. Sorry for my range of emotions.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? That is so beautiful. I love that about you, and I love that about the Bulls. One of my favorite things about Ryan and Katrina is that they're so authentic. Like they can't lie. It's just not even in their beings, and they're so wonderful and have such open hearts, but with boundaries, which I love because not everybody has boundaries. But these two are really sweet in how balanced they are, and it's been a pleasure to work with them as a business partner, and as seeing them in their marriage and how they work together. It's been really inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing that. We really appreciate you. And there's some comments too, right? Because like we couldn't without Katrina. There would be no appointments. There would be no stuff up online. The websites wouldn't work. You guys would, be waiting for me to get back to you because it takes me forever. So Katrina is really she's the stitch, that thread that keeps the big pieces together, the bowls and the vision and the two temples. Without her, we would not have such a great foundation. So I love you, I love you, I love you. Like, let's give her some love, right? Super appreciative. And there's even, I hope you read the comments, Katrina, because you're really, really appreciated by our community. Yeah. So we get to move on. We get to move to Ryan, which is really fun. Ryan, I'd love to hear just talk. Really good to hear.
Well, first of all, thank you, Catrina, so much for this participation in this journey. And I see you loving it and loving parts of it now that you really get joy out of. So thank you for the not rejecting it and going with the flow of it. I really appreciate it because it's brought some of the funnest experiences of my life. And so thank you for giving me that gift of being able to do that. And I hope more flows back to you and you have more and more fun with it over time. So thank you. And I think I'll start my journey with, as a child, I think I recognized I was more connected with sound than average because like when we'd make choices in our family about like, okay, well, what are you going to spend your allowance on? My brother would spend his money on like cars or something like that, and I'd be saving for my boombox. And I really like connected with music and the energy of sound since I was a kid. But I think I really let it die, becoming an adult and going into the corporate world, and I didn't carry that enthusiasm. I thought it wasn't accessible to me until I found yoga at the Soul of Yoga. And I think the biggest sign for me there was something to pay attention to was I saw men all the time come into the studio, mostly men, but women too. But it was what's really ingrained in my mind is watching men really squirm, try to sit still in like a meditation or something. Like they just seem so out of place. And then the teacher, like Amanda was talking about, would play a frequency, and I would watch these people suddenly find stillness when a small frequency was applied, just a little bit of sound. And I was really inspired by that. At the same time, I was inspired by the and sound experiences and sound healings that the Soul of Yoga was doing, and I recognized that there was such an audience for it that we'd fill up each time we did a sound healing night on Saturdays. We would do these monthly sound healings there, and they would just be so in demand and so loved by people that it seemed like the combination of those two things, witnessing so many people in the studio having this reaction of being able to find stillness in kind of their patterns, and then also the demand for it. I just had this intuition. Monique, also our business partner in the Soul of Yoga, also did have that same intuition of like, I think sound is where it's headed. I think there's healing there and that people really want to connect more with this. So she was encouraging us as well. And I remember meeting Amanda. And then from the time I met Amanda and talked to her, as soon as she mentioned the training she had done and the relationship she had formed with all the teachers, I had this intuitive sense of this is the right person to lead sound training at Soul of Yoga. Like this is a person that doesn't say like, I've got all the answers, I've got everything to teach. which she does. Amanda has a ton to teach, but it gave me a very good, there's a very good sign that she was humble and said, like, I know the right teachers to bring in from everywhere else. And now, since she's worked with those teachers several times in a row, now she already had a lot to teach, but now she's like the teacher that you should be teaching this all the time now. But it was an inspiration of like, yes, we have the right fit and the right teacher. And as soon as we started getting the sound program going, Amanda started to say, we need a sound store. And the thought that would go through my mind, and I'm so sorry, it is not a good thought, but I thought that would be the worst business in the world. That was the thought that I kept thinking every time Amanda would say that. I was like, that sounds fun, but you need to get more practical, was the thought I kept having. Until I went through the first Foundations Sound Healing training, drawn to it, I wanted to participate in it and see what it was. And I went through it. And that day of playing bowls with Crystal Tones, with Lupito and Ben, who came from Crystal Tones, and that day we spent really just learning about the bowls and then having a chance to interact with the bowls, something really shifted for me. And I've had a few of these samadhi moments in my life where I kind of get a sign from the universe. But I woke up early the next morning after playing with the bowls that day, and I was in the deepest samadhi bliss I can imagine. It's like just so deep, and there was really no. Amanda kept saying like, we need to do this, and there was no bite from me of like, yes, you're right. But then do you remember me calling you that morning, Amanda? Like, oh my gosh, you're right. Oh my gosh, we have to do this. You're totally right. We have to nurture these bowls and somehow get them out to the world. And I was really drawn to other things before that time. I was drawn to masculine instruments and mostly classical Indian and the tanpura and drones was where I was really focusing my energy and thought that's where I wanted to go until that day. And I looked at the bowls and I thought like, okay, the only reason why people like because they're pretty. I thought they're fooling everybody. It's like the emperor's new clothes. So boy was I wrong. Boy was I wrong. And it's led to such fun, tangible, rewarding experiences. I think it's been the most tangible in my life of being able to meet people, interact in a way where I really understand what the person is looking for, and I really get to form a relationship with that person, and then I get to share things with them that inspire them to a depth that half of our appointments at the store end up where someone is thanking us and crying, and it's like they've recognized an accessibility in their life to something that they didn't think was possible in the exchange that we've had. And so what a privilege to be able to have those interactions frequently with people. And like I had a meeting last week with a guy that was a beautiful person and said to me, I am convinced that I need to work to heal people, to help people with this, overcome the same patterns that I have. And I want to use these bowls at the tip of my spear in order to do that, to accomplish that. And we connected on so many things through that interaction and had such a beautiful several hours together of sharing things in life that we've learned and connecting around the bowls and everything. And it just, anyway, these type of interactions are such a gift to be able to have compared to many of the experiences that I had before that, of being able to do things but didn't ultimately feel like there was something being delivered or something happening with them. And this feels complete. All these interactions really feel complete. So, yeah, that kind of epiphany that Amanda was right was really a shock. And then jumping into it, and then not convincing, but Catrina's always been so nice about this thing of, I don't know where you're headed, but if you need to go there, then go there. And so I really appreciate that after I got the signal from the universe that it was okay. And so far it's been okay, and it's really enriched experiences. I think the peak of it was probably for me was about a month ago. I got to go record with a pretty major recording artist with the bowls. And I've also gotten to work on some production with Amanda and Sylvia, with the recording side of it. And all of this has really nurtured me too on the performances that we've been able to broadcast and record from the Sacred Sound of the Soul. I think that's one of my favorite things to do is transmit what of the best facilitators can do. To be able to take what they're doing and then get that out in the world to more people really makes me feel good. So that's kind of my story with it. Thank you for letting me tell it.
It's such a good story. I'm gonna mute you so we don't get the feedback. You know, watching everybody who's been involved in the Sound Institute and who's been involved in Sacred Sound of the Soul, from like I'm looking at a lot of you here. Becky took, I think, our second 100-hour foundation, or was it is the second one? Becky was in 2019's 100-hour foundation, and we took this Polaroid at the class, and I put it in my wallet. And she now has just moved to Sedona, and she works here with me at the temple here. So if you don't mind, Becky, would you mind talking a little bit, because once you take a class with us, and once you get your bowls, and now you're family, and so I always say, welcome to the family. But Becky has been in the family from the beginning, and this is a really great example of how, sticking with us, you get to blossom and different things change. But Becky's got a very unique story. So if we could have her come in and unmute and talk a little bit about your experience. Oh, I can't hear you. You have to unmute.
There we go. I thought I hit that button. Hit the wrong button as usual. Oh my goodness. It's changed my life. Obviously, I now live in Sedona, and it's funny, I lived in La Mesa too, and would drive by. It's weird, Amanda, I would drive by that. I never went in there, but that was my, I'd go down Baltimore Avenue every day. So that's really strange too, now that I'm saying that. But anyway, I took that, I think I have like 500 hours of sound healing under my belt. And, gosh, that was the funnest time ever. And it was in 2018, because it seems like that was pre-COVID life. And then, everything kind of went awry when COVID hit. And I actually, for my 60th birthday, I bought myself an RV. That was my 60th birthday present. And I started traveling around, and I traveled during COVID. I was kind of like in my own bubble, traveling around. And when I would get out of my bubble, I'd put on the hazmat suit and the gloves and go do grocery shopping. And so then that one trip was up into Northern California and into Oregon. And that was during 2019. And then in 2020 or 2021, I forget, I was on my way to Austin. My destination was Texas, in the RV. And I got as far as Sedona, never left, and happened to be walking by. There was a coffee shop next to where the temple is in Sedona, and it closed. And I was really bummed. And so I'm walking around, not knowing what to do, where to get coffee. And I'm walking by, and it's like, I'm looking at the store, and I'm like, wow, this looks like how Amanda has a store in Encinitas set up, same shelving units, same rainbow design. And so I texted her immediately and said, is that you? And she got back to me that same day, I think. And she said, yes. And I said, well, do you need help? And she said, sure, let's talk. So there I am at the bowl store, working on the weekends. So it was, to me, the most serendipitous story of my life thus far. And I bought a super grade. I have a super grade in my family now. And that Saint Germain super grade has been, I'm going to cry now, Katrina, has been utterly amazing for me. I just got it a couple weeks ago. And what it's even done for my life right now has been truly amazing. I love all my bowls. And I love the store. And I too cannot wait to see what the future holds for all of us, for all of us. So thank you so much for saying yes, and Amanda for all that you do, and for Katrina for keeping it all together for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Isn't it amazing? It's so hard to explain how how these bowls can actually impact you at that depth of experience. Like you're spending time with this bowl has changed your life. And as I say it, I feel like I'm so weird as I'm saying it. Like, how can this possibly be? It just doesn't make sense, but it's true.
You know, Amanda has always said something. She's always said the bowls will teach us. And I believe that they teach every one of us what, the things that we need to learn. All of us, even Amanda, you too, Ryan, and Katrina, you as well, and all of the others that have come to today. Whether we know it or not, and we may not realize it right away, it might come to us later. But there is something that these bowls bring into our lives that is just, it is beyond explaining it.
Thank you so much, Becky. I really appreciate you. She wasn't planning on coming on, but thank you. I also want to acknowledge Rebecca. I'm sure she's busy, but I'm super grateful that she's here. Rebecca has come on. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you for being here, Rebecca. Without Rebecca, the Sound Institute would not be functioning at all. It would probably have stopped when COVID hit because it was too overwhelming for me. And I prayed just like I did in the beginning of all of this. What I was really looking for was an expression to know God more, to know Source more. That was really my original desire and prayer. And I talk about that a lot in my classes. And I love Rebecca because she has that same thought pattern, right? That she lives her life the same way. As it's not like you go to God and you have a conversation. You're in communion with God all of the time. You're in communion with Source all of the time. And I'm so grateful and I feel so blessed to have Rebecca as a part of this, a part of our family. She also gets to, here's another benefit of being part of our family, is she's in Utah and she gets to come with us when we go choose the bowls for both temples. Now she assists. She was just there with Ryan a week or so ago when he went to go choose bowls, and she'll be there with me on the 11th. So you also get to work with, she also runs a lot of the classes for me now, so she gets to work firsthand with Sylvia, with Christine, with Wah, and with Shelly, and with me, not just, being in a class, but behind the scenes. And that deepens the relationship that you have with the teachings, with the wisdoms. What we're getting from all of these sound teachings and wisdoms and inspirations is it's a growing teaching. It grows as our consciousness wakes up and expands. The teachings also grow with us and we become more aware, and which is wonderful. So like when Becky's talking about, things changing and really affecting her when she needs it, it's because she's opened for that. She's ready. She's in alignment, more balanced. That's what sound does, right? It takes us from our chaotic state of just getting off the road and, you have to fight Encinitas traffic. Or if you're in Sedona, it's high season, it takes you an hour and a half to go a couple miles, right? Like you go from that state and then for example, in one of our temples, and if you've been to one of our temples, you could feel it down the road. You feel it when you're driving by. We've had people come in saying, I felt you, or I saw you I just saw a little tiny snippet, right? The one in Encinitas. We have that road that people can still see us by. And here in Sedona, you can't drive through Sedona and not see us. But you come in here and you have this many bowls, they're already playing, and you start to feel good right away. But when you take one of these bowls home and you play it, right, it doesn't take long for us to align. Align with the divine. We talk about that all the time. We feel balanced, right? You could go to yoga and do 90 minutes of yoga, and you might not have gotten your alignment. But for me, and for a lot of us, it only takes a moment of this to start to slow down and find your center. And once you find your center, you have a clear channel for that divine inspiration to come in, because it already exists, right? I'm not the first one to come up with an idea of doing a training program. I'm not. That's been done before me, but in my way. I pulled it through. I was open. I asked. I prayed, and then I meditated. I listened. I played my bowls, and I listened some more, and then I'd get the inspirations. Why don't you take that bowl down to that yoga center? Have they ever heard of sound healing? Oh, I don't know. I'll do that. Or maybe you get the inspiration to take your instruments to the school, or to the hospice, or to the community center, or something that lights you up, something that speaks to you. And that's what Sacred Sound of the Soul is. That's what Sound Institute is. It's all divine inspiration that I said yes to, that I said, I'll be the channel. I'll do the best I can. But I told Source, I was like, I can't do it alone. I need help. And that's when things get sent up. That's when everything lines up. They sent me Ryan. They sent me Catrina. They sent me Becky. They sent me Rebecca. They sent me each one of you. Just like they sent me to you. Just like they sent your bowls to you. And you say, stay open, and you say yes to your bowls. How many of you have bowls? Yeah. How many have had amazing, wonderful experiences that they can't even explain with their bowls already? Right? They're incredible, and you might not be able to put the exact words of how to describe it, right? Like Becky was like, it helps me. I feel so, it's coming to me. It's giving me everything I need. Same thing with Ryan, right? I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew it felt good. I knew I'm going with her, right? That feels right. You have to discern, because there's lots of stuff out there, right? There's a lot of sound can be used to uplift, and sound can be used to break down, and that's not bad. That's not bad. I always talk about the gongs, how I cry at them, because they break my energy system down. They break me down. I feel like it's too much for me, and I cry. It's too much. I don't do well with gongs. But I'm also thinking, well, I'm just not. It's in my journey. I'm not ready for that yet. Not that they're bad. I'm just personally not ready for that. And the great thing about the way that we approach sound healing is that there's space. You don't have to be forced. If you do sound in a really positive, uplifting way that we teach, harmonizing, it makes it easy for us, for everyone, just to kind of slip into that feel-good moment, which is different than dissonance, right? So Rebecca, kind of long tangent. Rebecca, I'd love to hear a little bit about how you feel about working with us.
Okay, I'm not super presentable, but it's fine.
Ah, I love her. There she is.
Okay. Hello. Wow. There's so much emotion going on. I'm feeling it too, actually. When Amanda was talking about Ryan and Catrina and their integrity, that is so true. They are phenomenal, beautiful people, all three of you. And it really is such a privilege to work with such genuine, authentic people and know that you really, people and healing is more important to you than business. And Ryan's also amazing at business. But you can see as you listen to him, that's not what's most important. And to sit here and see a man go, this isn't possible. Like, how is this real? You're talking about this bull and going, it's not possible. But here you are going, but it's happening. It's real. And knowing the power of that. And And Catrina, I love what you just said, Ryan, about her being willing to go, okay, if this is it, then let's do it. And Amanda doing the same thing and following all of that. So this is so wonderful. And um, I just, I was in my yoga teacher training and a girl brought in bowls and played them. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? That's a thing. And so I found some frosted bowls and I got them and I was like, but I want to learn I don't want to just have this. I want to do something with this. And Sacred Sound of the Soul came up and it was like teaching and training for real. So I took a class with Amanda. She went through all the instruments and I knew I needed all of them, but I'm like, whatever, that's not going to happen. I have all of them now. But at the end of class, she held up this little pink bowl and my heart actually physically, I felt it like leap and do this thing. And I'm like, oh no. I kind of felt, oh no. And so when everyone was off, I'm like, I think I have to buy that bowl. And then I did a harp and I was with Shelly and I was like, what else do I need? And she says, you need a D. And I'm trying to figure out how to even buy a D. And then I get on to look at a pyramid. Amanda has this whole family she's just created. And I'm like, oh no, I'm supposed to have the whole family. I didn't know how I was going to buy a D. And Ryan did everything he could for me to have that family. And I'm sitting here praying, doing everything I can. And then he texts me and he's doing the same thing at home and says, okay, I know what to do. And it was so amazing. And then the next thing I know, get to work with them. And so it really is everything and everyone being brought together. And it's just so beautiful. And to get to meet, oh my word, all these people that I would never know, and the friends and the being in breakout rooms. I remember in the ISH training one time, there were 4 of us in a room. There was me here in Utah. There was Germany. I can't remember. There were 2 other people across the country. And I had the last part of when you take ISH, at one point we're each taking turns teaching a part. So you learn to teach all of it. And I had the last part of ending in the meditation. And we got done and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, am I the only one who feels that? Are we seriously not in the same room? Like, are we really spread out over the world? Because we were so like this and all of us could feel it. And it's amazing. And sound healing has taken the healing work I do to whole new levels. And this is just, it's not only the instruments, it's the people and what Amanda and Ryan and Catrina have brought here is exceptional, and it's not normal. This isn't like what you're going to find other places because there's wonderful trainings and people everywhere, but where their hearts are is extraordinary. And so it's really wonderful. And Becky, I'm so happy you have your super grade. So anyway, everyone, just know that if you're wondering where to be, that this is a right place, and with true people and true instruments, and we really do care about you and your journey. Like when I send an email out and say we really would love to have you join us and we want to be on your journey with you, it's really true. We really do. So I love you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. What an honor. She's so much fun. She definitely was a gift from the divine, because man, I needed help, and she's so funny. She's like, I don't really know what you want me to do, but I'll do it. And she has so beautifully. And when you come to work with us, I really feel like you get this expansion, and that was part of the whole intention of the program when it came through me to begin with, was that it wasn't just a blessing for the students to come through. It was a blessing for the teachers to come through. It's a blessing for each one of us to come through, and we all feel this growth and expansion and empowered. These programs and these stores are about empowering you. And through sound and through your connection, through your instruments, whether it's a crystal bowl or it's a harmonium or a harp, or maybe the Tibetan bowls are what helps your heart to sing. We really try to encompass everything. Of course, I have my favorite bowls, and I'm going to tell you that these are my favorite bowls because they are, but that doesn't mean that other bowls are bad. Like, all bowls are fantastic. Anything that helps you to feel better, anything that helps you to shift is fabulous, and it's a great place to start. We have about 10 minutes left, and I really wanted to open it up to see if you guys had any questions or comments. We'd love to hear from you.
I just wanted to acknowledge Sonia real quick too, because she's also a newer member of the team who's
She's here.
helped us to record hundreds of bowls, videos of hundreds of bowls, and it's been really helpful. And she shows up with trust and integrity, and just wonderful too. So thank you, Sonia.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Man, Sonia is also a graduate of the 100-hour program she took with us. We've got some incredible pictures with her and the Tibetan bowl and the lights coming in. And if I had them accessible, I would show them to everybody. Maybe I'll put together a little video afterwards. But she's another one who came through our program and is now working with us. One of the big things that we wanted with our temples was to become a hub for sound healers to find work and to have a safe space and to feel comfortable and to know that we support them. So with Catrina's help, because she's the one that really sets up all the appointments, we've got quite a few sound healers that work through us, and when we get calls for jobs, we have our people that we reach out to, and every one of them went through our training program. So know that when you go through our programs, you're not just like, good luck. Like, we're here for you. We'll do whatever we can to help you achieve your dreams, achieve your goals. And if you don't have goals yet, it might be fun to set one. Like, I want to share sound healing with one person by the end of the year. And whether that's a family member or maybe it's a friend. I used to carry the Koshi chimes in my purse. And one time, I've done this several times, I was at grocery line and the lady behind me in front of me was so frustrated. Oh my gosh, like, I don't even remember what it was about, but I just kind of rocked with my Koshi chime, and it went ding, 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 and she stopped. And I don't think she noticed where it was coming from, but I could watch her go from a state of heightened anger to awareness of something else existing other than anger, to then finding calmness and peacefulness in herself. And then finally she turned around and had this really beautiful smile on her face, and she's like, "Are you chiming? Do you hear that?" And I pulled it out and I showed her and told her about it, and she loved it. She thought it was so much fun. So even be open. Our programs really teach that healing occurs anywhere. It doesn't have to be in a class setting. It can happen in the grocery store line, which I think is fabulous. So, and each one of you, I know a lot of you are leaders. You are, and you have friends and community around you that are ready for this modality, that are ready to receive the power of sound, and you can be that conduit for them. They don't all have to come through us, right? Like, some of you have taken a lot of my classes and are probably ready to start doing workshops yourself. And I want to support you in that, right? Like, that's what Crystal Bowl Club's all about. Okay, so if you have any questions, you're welcome to raise your hand on the little thing and we can call you, or you're welcome to type it up into the chat box. Becky writes, "I love that Barbara, as I want to ask Ryan, Amanda, Catrina, and Rebecca, oops, where did it go? How can we, or what can we all do to make this the new normal?" Send her to Sedona.
Barbara had said because you guys were saying that
I see.
that Ryan was saying it didn't feel right. It didn't feel normal, and so that's why and then Barbara wrote that, and I'm like, how do we make this the new normal, and how can we help you to make this the new normal? And then you went to talk with Sonia And Ryan was saying that she recorded all the bowls, and I'm like, send her to Sedona. So
Ah, I got it. Ah, that's funny, and that makes sense.
Can I
Yes,
say something to that about having this be normal?
please do.
I was the one who said that. And when I said it, I actually felt this, that of, wait, it should be. And the way we do that is to each recognize, first of all, that no one is more important than you. Each person is as important as every other person, and sit down and start a journey like of your own. Like you can't take this to the world truly authentically if you haven't started your own journey. Like become self-aware. Like if you have an instrument, awesome, sit down with it. If not, you have this one. Start drumming on this one. Like breathe, hum, whatever it is, and go inside and ask, what do I need to know? What do I need to shift or change or expand or cultivate? But get self-aware so that you can take that and put it in the world. Like become like, how do I have it true integrity? Like figure that out. Like that's how you do it, and then you can take that out so that one by one, what's normal is integrity. What's normal is loving people. What's normal is self-love. It's loving you so that you can offer that.
Oh, thank you so much. I always appreciate Rebecca's heart. She always speaks straight from the heart, which is wonderful. Yes, I love that. Crystal Bowl Club. We do have Crystal Bowl Club. It started back up in Encinitas, and we have it here in Sedona. So if you're interested in coming, we usually do invite only. The one in Sedona you can sign up for, but I think the one in Encinitas is by invite. So if you're interested in coming, just let Catrina know, and you will be on the invite list, because Crystal Bowl Club is a lot of fun. If you don't know what it is, it's a class that you can become trained to facilitate. It's something that I've developed myself, and it's a really fun way to share bowls with people in a safe setting. So we talk about the bowls. You'll learn about how to share them, how to orchestrate a group of playing bowls so that you don't have a bunch of cacophony and everybody's like, what the heck's going on? You know, because that happens. We had that happen at Ashana's training, right? We learned something huge during Ashana's training. We had 30 people playing different bowls at the same time. And I'm like, bad idea. And it was, right? We had a bowl break and it was kind of crazy. So, but those are all things that we teach you in the trainings, is how to avoid stuff like that. And that way you can really, when you bring the sound out into the communities, you have really wonderful experiences. We want to set you up for success and give you nice, easy ways that are reproducible. Like if you buy a family, and Becky knows this, a lot of you know this, when you buy 1 or 2 or 3 bowls, we build families, and so that way you don't even have to think about it. You just play those 3 bowls and you are harmony. And then maybe you want to do a little bit something extra like an octave, right? One of those little bowls that I love, with this little chimer that I love that Ryan's done so great to find again. We have these in stock again. We're actually going to be doing a new promo that when you buy a bowl, you get a free chimer. Isn't that fun? I know, I'm excited. So we're going to start to do lots of fun things like that. We just love our community so much. We're so grateful for you. If there aren't any other questions, I think we can close with I'll play the harp because I tuned it, and we can finish our circle here with a nice little prayer. Oh, I love that. Yeah, Catrina knows that. That's right. Let's bring our hands together. For some of you who've taken ISH already, this is our integrative sound healing, right? We like to integrate what we're doing. Deep breath in. Long exhale out over your hands. Good. Keep that up. We're going to do that 2 more times. Deep breath in. Exhale over those beautiful hands of yours that play all of your amazing instruments. Right now it looks like I'm playing nothing. There we go. There you go. One more time. Deep breath in. Long exhale out over those beautiful hands that work so hard for us. Heavenly Father, Holy Beloved Mother, the consciousness of Sedona and Encinitas and everywhere that you're from, all the people joining right now and who are going to watch the recording. We give thanks for all of the blessings we have received during our sound healing. path, our journey, and we ask that you continue to bless us in wonderful, uplifting, inspiring ways that motivate us to take our talents out into our communities and share it with our families. We thank you so much for blessing our homes, our instruments, our friends, our family, communities, those who will experience our offerings. We thank you for guiding us, again, in wonderful, uplifting ways that bring each of us joy, makes our hearts sing. We give thanks in the knowing that this is so. So be it. And so it is. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you again. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.